Posted 1200 p.m. September 30, 2017. Where do you stand on fish finger sandwiches, red sauce or salad cream bread? Or perhaps we went through a fish finger phase in our house a while ago, mainly because the offspring had taken a fierce notion of them. I didn't complain though. Containing fish as the name suggests, they are at least half good for a growing little un. Of course, some fish fingers are better than others. Chippers can be guilty of serving up the reconstituted version, which is basically mushed up fish eyes and bone, so they're best avoided whenever possible. And although there are some decent frozen varieties, some companies have even taken to calling them fish goujons for added fanciness. It's hard to beat the homemade version. You can call your homemade ones fingers or goujons, but in the interests of non-pretentiousness, I'm calling mine fingers. Better still, have you ever tried smoked fish fingers? You haven't? Well, aren't you in for a treat? Any smoked fish will do the trick, even the dyed variety, but if you're lucky enough to get naturally smoked cod or haddock, it's a different level of loveliness. They're so good, you get to close one eye, say "R" and pretend you're Captain Birdseye. Speaking of Captain Birdseye, why is pirating so addictive? Because when you lose your first hand, you're hooked. This recipe makes about 10 fish fingers, depending on how thick you cut the strips. The only golden rule is that you use a good meaty fish, like cod, collie, or haddock or even pollock. Even non-smoked fish is great in this recipe. Ingredients: cup of plain flour, seasoned with salt and pepper. 75 grams golden breadcrumbs. 1 large egg. Zest of 1 lime. Salt and pepper. About 400 grams of thick skinless fish, whatever type, cut into thick strips. Light olive oil or vegetable oil. Yet more bread, if you're making sandwiches. The plan: start by laying out your production line. Beat the egg with a fork until well combined. Set aside. Add the flour to a separate plate, set aside. Then zest the lime, and add this to the breadcrumbs, and put those on another plate. Now you're ready to go. One at a time, dust the fish strips in the flour, and when well coated, run through the egg and finally through the breadcrumbs. Set the crumbed strips on another plate until you've them all done. Pour your oil into a frying pan until the bottom is covered, and it's about 1 centimeter deep. Heat this over a medium to high heat. It's ready when you drop a bit of bread in, and it goes golden. Add 3 or 4 strips at a time, and cook them for about 5 minutes altogether, depending on thickness, turning carefully now and again, so they're all over golden. Drain on kitchen paper. And that's about it. I won't insult you by suggesting how you make your fish finger sandwiches or babs, but I'll tell you this: salad cream is hard to beat. Alternatively, if you've a mind to use mayo as your lubrication, why not add a few drops of lime juice from that one you just zested? Air posted 1200 p.m. September 30, 2017. Read the full story in this week's paper, available in your local newsagents today, or subscribe to our digital edition by clicking below.